welcome back to my channel. I thought, since it's almost at the end of the year, I thought it would be fun to do a top 10 list. Now, the top 10 list I chose to do for Living Dead dolls are the dolls that in my opinion, I think are the worst. And I'm only doing the dolls from the series. That means series 1 through 35. I'm not doing exclusives. I'm not doing resurrections. Just regular series run dolls. Now, I do not hate these dolls. I love these dolls, but I just feel they're underwhelming compared to the rest of the dolls in the LDD series, and some of them are the worst doll in their individual series. So without further ado, here are the top 10 worst, in my opinion, Living Dead dolls. So the first doll is Lilith. She's from Series 3. Now, the reason why I have her on this list, and again, make no mistake, I do not hate this doll. She's cool, but what I do not like about Lilith, for a vampire, she's kind of cartoony. She's kind of silly, like up close of her face. So many vampire dolls have been made from Living Dead dolls. From Series 19, my Nosferatu 2-pack with that vampire, Desdemotus from Series 21. Vampires have just been done better by Living Dead dolls, and she's my least favorite. I'm also not a fan of her Fashion Victims and her Resurrection. However, I am a fan of her baby. I have talked about the Living Dead doll Dolly version of Lilith a couple times on different videos. But in terms of her design, she's not my favorite. But again, I still love her. And that is Lilith. Next doll on my list is Siren from Series 5, which is the Hollywood series. She is from 2003 in March. Interesting fact, she shares a death date with Janis Joplin. And she's the first doll in Living Dead dolls series run with a stitched mouth. Now, the reason why she's on this list is that she's very underwhelming compared to Series 5 dolls. And you have gorgeous dolls like Hollywood, the Black Dahlia doll, and Jezebel. And Vincent Vaughn is also in that series, but I just think out of all of them, she's just underwhelming. I'm not a fan of her outfit. I just think she's very uninspiring. But that's Siren from Series 5. Next doll is Envy from Series 7, which is the Seven Deadly Sins series. Now, she's supposed to be Envy. And the reason why she's on here is just like Siren, compared to the rest of the dolls in the series, she was underwhelming. I thought for the green one with Envy, I thought it was a little on the nose. Not sure what they could have done. Series 7, personally, the dolls are hit or miss in terms of capturing that sin. And I think hers was the worst job. She has a death date with Betty Page, a famous pinup model. And, you know, I just get, I don't know, Flintstones vibes from her. Not really. She doesn't scream that she's jealous. If anything, she's like a little mini She-Hulk. But, you know, again, I don't hate the doll. I just think of the execution in her series, she's a bit underwhelming. And not the best execution of that theme. Or I should say that sin of Envy. And that is Envy. Okay. Next doll on the list is Jacob. He's from Series 13. The Bad Luck series. He is based on the Jacob's Ladder movie. He actually shares the same death date. His birthday, his death date is the birthday of Tim Robbins, who was in Jacob's Ladder. Series 13 was in 2007. I forgot to mention Envy was in 2004. And Series 5 Siren was from 2003. He's on the list because he is very plain compared to the other dolls in that series in terms of capturing the theme. He's supposed to be bad luck crossing a ladder. He has the ladder. I forgot to bring it with me when I took him down from the shelf. And there have been so many LDD boy characters with hoodies long after him. And he's just very dull. Again, I don't hate him. He's still a cute doll. It's just compared to the other dolls in his series, he's a little bit meh. And that is Jacob. Okay, next doll on my list is Flamingo. She's from Series 15, which was released in 2008. She shares a death date with Edith Massey, who starred in the movie Pink Flamingo. And the reason why she's on the list, she has the unique distinction of having a chipboard and death certificate contradicting each other. So if you read on her chipboard, I'll let you pause to read that. It is very different from the cause of death in her death certificate. If I can get that to focus. Okay. In case you can't read that, basically she took poisonous mushrooms and thought she can fly. Now, normally I guess it wouldn't be a big deal, but with Living Dead dolls, they've always been consistent with whatever's on the chipboard. If the chipboard has a poem, matches the cause of death in the death certificate. So this was a very big era, and I haven't seen it since or before, so I thought that was very unusual. Also with Flamingo, see a close-up of her. She doesn't go with the group of dolls that are in her theme. Her group of dolls, there's a Gypsy, there's a Grim Reaper, there's Judas, and there's Bathory. And they seem to exist in a different setting than Flamingo. I just felt like Flamingo, though a cute doll, I just felt like she belonged somewhere else in a different series, and they couldn't think of a proper fifth doll. And the funny thing is, Flamingo was the first of Series 15 that I own. I saw her in a store in person, and I just thought she was adorable. And that was me back in the day when it came to Living Dead dolls. I bought the cutest ones from the series. So she was adorable, and she still is adorable. Again, I love this doll. But again, she's just in theme, doesn't make any sense. And again, the whole chipboard and death certificate is a bit of a head scratcher. And that's why Flamingo is on my worst list. Okay, next doll on the list is Menard. Menard was from Series 22, released in October of 2011. The zombie series, which is one of their best series, in my opinion. Just in terms of the theme, it's just so well done. With the exception of Menard here. He shares his death date is with a movie called Zombie 2 or Zombie Island of the Living Dead. And he is on the list because just like Flamingo, I feel Menard doesn't go with the rest of his group. They take place in modern times, whether it's a Peggy Goo in a 50s diner, or you have Gloria, a Southern Belle, but they all exist in a modern setting. He seems like from, like Renaissance or medieval times with his monk attire. Maybe it is a reference to that movie, that Zombie Island. I'm not sure. Also, they reused his face. I don't know if it happened before or later, but this face was on the Jason Voorhees doll set. Here's a picture of it. And that was under the Presents line. I just thought it was very lazy and boring with Menard. And again, just like Flamingo, I think they struggled to find a fifth doll to fit that theme. And that's why Menard is on my list. Now, the next doll on my list, I do not own him. He is Hook from Series 17, released in 2009. That's the Urban Legends. Here's a picture of him. Now, the reason why he's on the list is because there has been a hooked hand doll. Actually, they've done this a couple of times. The hook hand. And of all of them, he's kind of boring, uninspired. I felt they did the best hooked hand doll was Angus. He's from Series 8. I love Angus. He's if you want to talk about that particular theme, he's the best one. This is a picture of Angus. And I just felt like, you know, with the Urban Legends series, overall, that particular series is not my favorite series. Actually, it's the only series I do not have of Living Dead dolls. But I will be getting that series eventually. Just like in the past, I've had a change of heart. So I will have him in my collection. I'm just not in a rush and looking for a deal for the Hook. In case you don't know, the Hook is based on an urban legend of the hook-handed man killing a woman's husband on his way to get gas. And the car stopped, leaving his hook for her to find, like, on the car. And, and that's pretty much it for the Hook. Okay. Another doll on my list is Spider Bite, also from Series 17. And also a doll I do not have in the collection. Very much like the Hook, the spider theme has been done before. The urban legend is of a spider bite causing eggs to hatch an unsuspecting victim. And just her design is just so lazy. The hair is not that great. The outfit is like it was a second thought. And just like the Hook, there has been another spider doll. This cutie right here, Arachne. I love her. She's from Series 10. In my opinion, she's the best of Series 10. Just look at that face right here. Isn't she gorgeous? You know, from just the makeup on her face to the adorable spider on her poodle-like skirt. This is an example of a theme done well and executed perfectly. And I just felt Spider Bite pales in comparison to Arachne. And that is Spider Bite. Okay, and back to dolls that I actually have. My number 2 on my list is Carrot Mortz. He was part of Series 33, which was called the Moulin Morgue. This was released around 2017, this series. And about just everything about him is just so weird. His hair is, I have no idea what that hairstyle is. The outfit is okay. When you compare it to the Moulin Morgue series, like all those dolls are so wonderfully dressed compared to him. And probably the strangest thing about him is that his face is very similar to this doll, which is Ava. She's from Menard series, the Zombie series, Series 22. And they have pretty similar screenings. It's crazy. They even have the drawn, which is done better on her versus him. Again, just very uninspired, a little lazy in my opinion. His name means dead carrot in French. Like, even the name was unimaginative. And, again, I don't hate the doll. They're in my collection. It's just, when you compare it to the rest of the dolls in his series, he just pales. And, they could have done a much better job with him. So that's why he's number 2 on my list. And my number 1 worst doll in Living Dead Dolls series run is Cracked Jack. He was from series 25, released in 2013. Now, there's so many things about Cracked Jack. First, his face is... I don't know how to describe his face. He has an eyebrow here, and he's missing one. The eyes, I mean, it could be the injury. I forgot how he died. And he clashes with the rest of his... Well, actually, that series is not one of the best themed overall series. Series 25. So I'll forgive him for that. But just his design, like especially the face, is just... I don't know what that is, honestly. And what really annoyed me about Cracked Jack is that on his chipboard, it suggested that he was based on the Cracker Jack boy, the mascot. And so with that, I guess I expected maybe a fun accessory. Something that you only would know if you opened his coffin. Like Ezekiel, who came with a little pulled toy. I thought the Cracker Jack could have came with maybe a box of poison Cracker Jack, like a parody, or he could have came with a dead dog. But he came with nothing, and it was such a wasted opportunity. The only... Well, actually, none of the dolls in his series had an accessory, but sometimes that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. They don't all have to have an accessory. Like for example, series 26, I think, 26, 27. It was the demons from different worlds, and only one of them had an accessory. That's Zesbith. She came with a book of lies. So they don't all have to have an accessory, but I thought with him, like, it would have been a great opportunity to include that. His death date even coincided with the same year that Cracker Jack was introduced in the Columbian Exposition of that year. So... Yeah, I just wish they would have done something. And I think if he came with that accessory, he probably wouldn't be on my list, if I could be quite honest, because at least they would have taken the opportunity and played up the Cracker Jack theme, which obviously is his outfit's inspiration. So that's it. That is the top 10 worst Living Dead dolls. Again, if you love these dolls, this is just my opinion, and it really was a hard list to compile because Living Dead Dolls is just a great series overall. But if you're going to be honest, there are some dolls here and there that don't quite muster the overall excellence of the series dolls, or series 1 through 35. So, what are your worst Living Dead dolls? Do any of these dolls, are they actually your favorites? And if they're your favorites, again, I do apologize. It's just my opinion. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. I am doing one more video for 2024. And I'm going to go over all the Living Dead doll merchandise I had collected from all of 2024. So that'll be fun, and that'll be my year-end video. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want any more information about these dolls in later videos, just shoot me a comment. I am thinking if there's an interest of new videos based on each of the series, if that's something you'll be interested in, I would definitely consider doing those type of videos. And I would include actual price guides and how much the dolls actually go for. So if that's something you'll be interested, just leave a comment. And if there's enough interest, I'll definitely look into doing those dolls. So, as always, happy hunting, and stay tuned for another video.